Mr. President, I rise today to speak about Judge Brett Kavanaugh, President Trump's second nominee to serve on the Supreme Court of the United States. Judge Kavanaugh's qualifications are undeniable. He's proven over the last 12 years on the U.S. Court of Appeals for the D.C. Circuit that he is most well qualified for this next step in his career. I had the opportunity to sit down with Judge Kavanaugh in my office just last month. He struck me as a man of great character and integrity. He answered questions directly. He spoke forthrightly. He demonstrated at once a strong intellect and a deep humility. He had a wide-ranging conversation with me on issues that are important to the people in my home state of Indiana, including his approach to faithfully interpreting the Constitution of the United States. Now, as a D.C. Circuit Judge, he's carried out his duties faithfully and consistently. He's shown by the record that he understands that the judge's role is to apply the law as it's written. It's not to impose his own policy preferences. He is what you might call a textualist when interpreting statutes, meaning he adheres strictly to the law as it's written. And he's an originalist as well, meaning he carefully reviews the history of our framers when interpreting the Constitution. This is an approach he frequently lectures and writes about as a guest lecturer at Harvard and other top law schools, including Notre Dame Law School, back home in Indiana, where he gave a guest lecture on his jurisprudential approach in February of 2017. It's also worth noting that it was Supreme Court Justice Elena Kagan who hired Judge Kavanaugh to teach at Harvard when she was the Harvard Law School dean. Justice Kagan clearly thought highly of the judge's reputation and credentials. So highly, in fact, that she hired him to help shape the minds of Harvard Law School students. In his writing, Judge Kavanaugh reminds us that federalism and the separation of powers, quote, are not mere matters of etiquette or architecture, but are essential to protecting individual liberties, unquote. Judge Kavanaugh has also exhibited a willingness to rein in administrative agencies when they exceed their authority under the law. And he has consistently held that international laws do not govern national security matters if Congress has not adopted them as domestic law. After carefully reviewing Judge Kavanaugh's record, I'm confident he'll be faithful to the Constitution and preserve the integrity of the Supreme Court. But I have to say, Judge Kavanaugh is more than just a highly respected jurist. He's more than an eminently qualified legal scholar and a mind that's well suited for the Supreme Court. He's also a father, a husband, a coach to his two daughters' basketball team, a man of impeccable character. Earlier this month, a group of more than 30 parents sent a letter to the Senate Judiciary Committee praising Judge Kavanaugh's character. The judge's two daughters are students at Blessed Sacrament School here in Washington, D.C., and the judge is the girls' basketball coach. The parents wrote, "Brett Kavanaugh has been a devoted coach and mentor to our daughters." They continued, "In addition to his long list of professional and academic accomplishments, we hope that the committee will also consider Brett Kavanaugh's contributions as a volunteer youth basketball coach and the service, selflessness, dedication, and commitment his coaching exhibits." Now, in 2 weeks, the Senate Judiciary Committee will begin its confirmation hearing for Judge Kavanaugh. He's one of the most qualified nominees to ever come before the United States Senate. And when all is said and done, the Judiciary Committee will have reviewed more records than ever before for a Supreme Court nominee. The importance of protecting individual liberty cannot be overstated. I'm pleased we're considering the nomination of someone who, by word and deed, has committed himself to preserving freedom. I look forward to watching Judge Kavanaugh's confirmation hearing, and after conducting a thorough and objective review of his nomination, I'm confident that Judge Kavanaugh will be an excellent addition to our nation's highest court. Thank you, Mr. President, and I yield the floor.